Hey, dear listeners, Love is Blind. Let's watch. Can you tell I got a haircut?
And then the hot tub.
That's not hot.
Dude, it's my birthday.
No,
it's my birthday. I can use that excuse for at least the next 10 hours, I think, so.
I'm fucking out of here. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
So we're seeing a dynamic that I think, started to see in the pods, where he will be kind of out there with his personality, perhaps being a tool, as he puts it, and then she will be playfully rejecting of him. Like when she said, "You were annoying the F out of me yesterday." You know, she has a harsh way, playfully harsh, you know, in a nice way. But when I heard that, I thought, well, you know, that's noticeable. And then now they're in Mexico. She says, "What do you want to do?" And he's basically intimating that he wants to have sex with her. And she says, "That's never going to happen." I don't know if she means that in reality. I suspect she doesn't mean that literally. Is she wanting him to slow down? Is she just wanting to be playful about it, play hard to get or something? I don't know. And then she said, let's rewind, because I think she said something else that was along the playfully harsh.
It's my birthday.
No,
it's my birthday. I can use that excuse for at least the next 10 hours, I think, so.
I'm fucking out of here.
That's right. I'm effing out of here. So it's a playful way of communicating it, but it's notable. And if he's cool with it and plays along with it, and it's balanced out with messages that she likes him, then maybe it'll work out okay. But I think it is interesting, and I don't know what it says, but let's see how he manages with it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Did you give me a present?
Just have to see tonight.
Ooh. What do you say?
Say what? Fucking pour me.
What do you say?
What?
I need a little.
Oh.
Okay, and he's starting to be playful back with that. By the way, I just want to let everyone know that a little behind the scenes stuff for this channel is whenever I'm reacting, there's always this copyright system. Literally every video that I post, of which there are many, as you know, I have to go through this pretty rigorous process of making sure that it's going to pass the fair use copyright regulations that YouTube and the various different production companies, whether it's TLC or which is owned by Discovery and I think and Netflix. And one of the things that's I didn't realize until starting to post these videos is that Netflix now, with Love is Blind Season 1, they weren't doing this, is very strict about how long of a clip. And it's kind of maddening. I mean, it's sort of a first world problem, but when we post videos, long story short, me and my wife have to go through this really annoying process of trial and error. And we're in the constant, task of trying to post these videos in a timely manner. And sometimes a copyright will just boom. And there's always this risk that you're going to get striked. You're going to get a strike on YouTube and they'll just take away your entire channel. I mean, just imagine that, like your entire channel is just erased by YouTube because someone just decided to claim that it wasn't fair use. By the way, I've consulted with lawyers. Everything I'm doing is completely fair use. I show little clips. It's picture in picture. I'm commenting, da-da-da. What we're discovering in an annoying way is that Netflix only allows extremely short clips. Anything longer and it'll get dinged in a variety of different ways. And so if y'all are like, how come he's only showing these tiny little clips? And sometimes I'll try to edit the clips, because it kind of, the 25-second clip, you need to see all the different bits, but they don't allow 25-second clips. They only allow like 14-second clips. So I've got to edit the clip down to this really kind of janky form. So I just want everyone to know that. That's always been a thing that's always been going on in the background with TLC. The clips they allow are a little longer, and not much, honestly. They used to allow clips that were really long back in the day, in the good old days from 2 years ago. So if you're wondering, like, how come the clips are short? It's because of that. There's just no way around that. And if anyone knows anyone at Netflix or TLC or Discovery that I can talk to and just get some special permission, let me know, because it would be a lot easier so I could actually watch the long. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
Leave?
No, something else.
Is that what you were saying?
No, just something nice about me.
Just pour me first and I'll give you a compliment.
Okay, so he's playful back, and maybe they're made for each other in this way. I have to say, personally, I don't like this kind. Me and my wife don't do this kind of stuff. Each to their own. And I think it runs the risk of being too playful and too hurtful, honestly. It would have to be balanced out with a lot of genuine, authentic, open, vulnerable love towards each other, which we're not seeing at this point. Maybe they do that later. Now, they literally just met in person for the first time recently, maybe yesterday. So, there's going to be some awkwardness. But anyway, so she's saying, give me some champagne, and he's saying, okay, you have to give me a compliment first. All right. So that's in line with what he was saying with Shayne, that he needs lots of compliments. Now, what does that mean about his personality? I don't know. But given everything that we've seen, there's a possibility that he lacks confidence and needs frequent messages to make him feel good enough, and knows enough about his own vulnerability that it's better to ask than to pout. So and there's nothing incredibly wrong with that. If you need a compliment, it's good to ask. Hey, I like compliments. And, so on one level, it's healthy. On another level, it could indicate that some desperation there and some relational traumas that are going to be hard to adjust for without some self-awareness and healing. Let's see how she manages.
That's a lie, but I'll allow it. 'Cause I'm a nice guy. See, I'm not egotistical. I'm a nice guy.
You're a piece of shit.
Okay, so I don't know if they're playing it up for the cameras, but interesting comment. He says, see, I'm not egotistical. So where does that come from? Is that like a previous conversation that he's referring to? That they had him, maybe her even saying, I think you're a little egotistical. I don't know. But we're starting to see a number of signs of a particular defensive structure for him. We don't know. But then she says, see, you are a piece of crap. And another little dig there. It's like pretty consistent messaging from her. And so I would guess that she is insecure, that, she's on camera. She's probably also worried about, does he really love me? I mean, now that he sees me. So, as I'm sure they all are to some extent. And so there's that. I don't know if racism could be a part of this as well. I, as an Asian American, can tell you that we sometimes feel like we're not taken seriously, or we're seen in a certain way, or I don't know, whatever. So I would guess that she feels insecure, that she feels awkward, and her go-to defense is to playfully be harsh as a way of trying to dissipate, and also trying to establish like some kind of boundary of, I'm a tough person, but I'm playful. And, it's, if done right and it's moderated with actual love. Now, maybe she is looking at him and being like, I've made a terrible mistake. I guess we'll find out.
You're being a little mean.
Really? Oh, you need words of affirmation.
Yeah,
Okay, I think you're hot. Here, does that help you?
yeah, that's the first actually nice thing you said about me.
Okay, so I think that worked out well. He kept remaining open. He didn't get hostile, and he's like asserting his needs. He's like, could you please? But playful. And then she paid attention and said, so you really need me to say something? You really need words of affirmation, that, the love language. And then she says, I think you're hot. And then he says, I think that's the first nice thing you've said to me. So just imagine, you can think what you will about Shayne, but imagine you fall in love with someone through a pod, you can't see them. You meet them in person, body language indicates they're into you, but who knows what really is going on in their minds. And you're probably wondering, do they think I'm hot? Are they attracted to, do they like me still? I don't know. And the fact that, according to him, he has not heard any words along those lines, it would make sense that he would be curious about that and would need that. So, it's a good expression of one's needs. And if more people requested those kinds of needs being met in this way, I think it'd be, relationships would be enhanced.
I think you have really nice eyes.
Oh my God. Natalie is absolutely gorgeous. I think she's beautiful, style, everything she's got going for her. That has not been a problem whatsoever. But like, communication's a little different than the pod so far. I don't know if she's just nervous and that's how she reacts.
Right. I mean, the bits that we're seeing, that seems accurate. She seems more standoffish, more cold with him. In the pods, she was complimentary and nice and attracted to him, would say lots of things. And so, yeah, I suspect that she's nervous. And she actually keeps looking at, I think, the producers. I think she keeps kind of saying a joke and then she'll look in the direction of the cameras, I think because she just feels, I'm guessing, incredibly awkward because she's on camera. When they're in the pods, I think the way that the cameras are situated, it's not obvious that they're on camera. I think the cameras are behind like mirrors or in tiny little black windows that you can't really see through. So now the cameras are right there, right? The producers, the sound people, they're all just standing there. So I'm guessing that's playing into it for her. I don't know though.
A little bit to the situation, but I wanted a little more affection, I guess. I'm like flustered, I'm confused. I just don't understand what's going on.
The other thing I'll say, possibility for Natalie, is that in the pods, it was easier to be vulnerable because there's a distance there. Some people are like that, actually. Clients, people I know, who over text or email or the phone, they can be like 100 times more vulnerable than when you're in person. Because in person, eye contact vulnerability can be scary. It can be associated with bad times for people. And so they want to be vulnerable, but it's easier if there's some kind of barrier. And a lot of therapists, especially who work with kids and teens, realize this, that when you are eye to eye with a teenager and you're just like, tell me about your feelings, on average, that will scare them off. But if you watch a YouTube video with them and you're side by side watching something and you're like, how do you feel about what's going on in your life? The teen is much more likely, while you're watching a YouTube video or a TikTok or something, the teen is more likely to share because it's just less intense. It's less invasive and less of them being on the spot. One thing that me and my colleagues learned very well through our experience was if we drove the kid and the teenager, meaning we were driving and they were in the passenger seat, we're both watching the road, they were a lot more likely to share things. We had our hypotheses about this, that the hum of the road and the engine is kind of like a womb, and so it feels relaxing in that way and safe. Also, there's less eye contact. Also, you don't associate driving with someone with therapy and being on the spot. You kind of, it feels more like you're just hanging out. And maybe the passing of the visual stimuli kind of keeps the brain a little bit distracted, so you could just lull yourself into sleep. I mean, it could be similar to the phenomenon that some parents learn that to put their kid to sleep, to get them to nap when you really need them to. Sometimes you put them in the car seat, drive them around the block a few times, and they just instantly go out. So there's something about the car. We don't know. We don't understand humans well enough to answer that question. But it seems to be, on average, something that a lot of people will report. Anyway, so for Natalie, maybe coming out of the pods and being eye to eye is at least temporarily scary for her, and it kicks in her defenses of standoffishness and harsh language.
Good.
Yeah.
How did you sleep?
If I hear 3 alarms go off every morning, there's gonna be a divorce happening pretty quickly.
So either he also likes to be playful in this way, or he's adapting to her style. But what he's saying, I think, is she hit snooze a few times, and so he says, if I hear 3 alarms, I'm going to be looking for a divorce pretty quickly. He's making a joke. Some people wouldn't like that kind of a joke, but clearly she plays in that space for joke-wise. And so he is, and then she takes it as such. There's a little playful tap. I will say, though, that couples that do this do run the risk of it going too far, because essentially what happens is that if you're in a little bit of a bad mood, or you're a little hurt, a little hostile, then you're used to saying some pretty harsh things, and so some harsh things might come out, and you might think you're just joking and using similar tone in other situations, but in reality you're using a very very harsh, hostile tone with hostile language. So I don't know what to think about it. On one level, of course, playfulness is fine, but I think you run a risk.
Oh my God.
I know, and I was like, oh, I don't snooze.
Yeah, you said you don't snooze, yet you fucking click it 3 times the first nights together.
I didn't realize I was hitting the snooze. I thought it was just
I mean, I will say they seem to have physical chemistry, and they seem to have affection for each other, so they have that going for them.
In like 4 years, but I'm like so happy.
Me too.
You can love someone without seeing them and whatnot, but I think there's I just love you so much more because you're beautiful too. Ow.
Okay, so we're seeing more of that dynamic. He is not being playfully harsh in this moment. He is being romantic and nice and expressive and saying, I love you, and I love you even more after meeting you and spending time with you. And then she hits him. So if that's their way, then fine, but I don't know, that felt not appropriate. So now I don't know, maybe there's a broader context here that would make sense, but he's being nice. You can't just say, now, why would she do this? Well, she's awkwardness in front of the camera. It's too vulnerable for her, and it's scary, or she's not good with reciprocating. It pushes her into this place where she feels like she has to express herself verbally that she doesn't feel comfortable around. I don't know, but it's not going to be, I don't think this is going to be relationship enhancing if she keeps this up.
You are beautiful though.
Oh my gosh. I think if you didn't look like you, I'd still feel the same.
Do you think I'm pretty?
So maybe, I don't know, maybe she thought he was commenting sexually for her, and she felt like she had to be that way because he might have been making a sexual innuendo or something, because then she says, well, I think I would have loved you regardless of how you, or maybe, well, okay, so yeah, I'm sure some of you were thinking that. I think she might have hit him partially in that it's well, what if I didn't look good according to your standards? Then you're saying you wouldn't want to be with me. I think that's what the hit was about. Yeah, okay.
Do I think you're pretty?
I think I'm pretty.
Are you fishing for compliments right now? Mm-hmm. Not really.
Okay, so he is saying, I think you're pretty, and he's, kind of saying, and do you have anything to say? I mean, he didn't say that directly, but it was in his language, which is fine. He's just hey, I just, want some back and forth here. Because at this point, he's just saying he's just saying a lot of nice things about her. And, she said one nice thing. And then she's playful, and she's like, yeah, I don't think you're pretty. I'm just joking. Again, I just don't think this is a long-term strategy. And I think he's about to complain. Let's see what he says here.
Honestly, it's so you gotta stop doing that. Cause I'm trying to have a fun conversation. You fish for compliments, stop, have a normal conversation. Make it much harder than what it is.
Okay, that's good. So we use this as a jumping off point, and he has needs that a lot of people have of verbal affirmations of, do you like me? Especially in the beginning here, because it's not established, right? Do you like how I look? And for some of us, we might be like, well, she already said that she thinks he's hot. But if we just needed someone to say one, and say that you're with someone for 50 years, and you only need to say you only need to hear that they love you once. You only need to hear that they're attracted to you once, and then that's just supposed to tide you over for years. I'm exaggerating in that way, but it's not uncommon for people to, again, especially in the beginning, to need a fair amount of reassurance, maybe even frequently. So are you, because we've all been there where someone fell out of love with us, or they weren't attracted to us anymore when they used to be, and so you just are you still attracted to me? Or different ways of describing one's attraction to someone. So he is fishing for compliments. I think because he knows from past relationships that if he doesn't get those kinds of affirmations, that he'll downward spiral, I'm guessing. And so he's being vulnerable and healthy in that way, asking, and then she is saying no. I think, again, I'm trying to figure out why she does that so often. I think in some instances, great, it's being playful. I mean, I think she does like him, and there's a lot of physical contact with him and a lot of seemingly comfort with him, although we haven't really heard what's going on in her mind. Maybe we'll hear. So I don't think it reflects, I don't think she's trying to say something passive through that rejection. I think she's actually just insecure and doesn't know what to do. And so it feels safer to be jokey and also to be rejecting. Because anyway, so I mean, the analogy that I'll say is that it's not the same, but it's analogous, is that you get up the nerve to walk across the room to ask someone to dance, and then they say no, and you say, well, I didn't want to dance with you anyway. It's kind of that thing. So, and he's saying, hey, and then he says very directly, you got to stop doing that. So he's saying, you do this a lot, and he's not getting hot-headed. He's being straightforward. It's like, you got to stop doing that. I want to have a normal conversation with you. Like, you're always joking, and I'm trying to be real here, and I think that's a totally valid request. And she is hearing it. She's like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So I think they're working it out.
You joke a lot.
I do. You hate it.
It kind of gets a little old after a while. I know. Sorry, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally reasonable, and let's see how she reacts to that. I was initially, I thought she would be like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be that way. But now it seems to be turning a corner. I think it's just the way they edited it. This show doesn't do that as much as 90 Day Fiancé, where they will just Frankenstein various different clips to tell a narrative that didn't actually happen. I think they just kind of did that. I suspect that she was more open to him saying that than what was edited.
I might wear like an entire just like zip up onesie, honestly.
Are you happy with everything that's been going on the last couple of days with me? Mm-hmm. Besides me like ripping out your soul with all my energy, is there anything else or no?
Okay, so he is fishing for a compliment again, and that's fine. As long as he's not annoyingly persistent. I actually advocate for people to do what he's doing, which is instead of hoping that someone pays attention to you, just advocate for your needs and just ask, hey, I need some love, I need a hug, I need some support, I need you to listen to me, I need you to put your phone down and really pay attention, that kind of thing. We all need those things, and sometimes we got to ask for it. So he does that a lot, and that's good. I think he recognizes how much he needs, and in an appropriate way asks for that. And so he just did that. And then he made a joke about sucking her soul, because they were talking earlier about extrovert, introvert. She was saying she's very introverted, and he's saying he's very extroverted. Those kinds of configurations can work very well. They can complement each other in very good ways. The extrovert will bring the introvert out of their hole, and the introvert will get the extrovert to calm down a little bit and to maybe focus on deeper, long conversations, that kind of thing. And both people want both things, but anyway. So that's a oversimplification of extrovert, introvert. But my point is that can work, and so he is now kind of asking, am I being too extroverted for you?
That's who I am, though. I can't really help that.
When you're with your guy friends, it's like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I think in that way, we're like different people. I don't think we have to work on it. It's just something I have to like get used to.
Yeah.
I mean, it is who you are, so I think it's fine.
And that's the person you love, right?
So it's great. She's just like, look, it is who you are, and I just have to get used to it. It's just a different thing. You are a different thing, and so you just need to be extroverted with your guy friends, and I just need to not be there. And that's totally fine. So it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you get a little more love in that there or not?
I was like, yeah. Yeah.
You gotta give our relationship a little more credit. I think.
Yeah, it's not like I don't. I'm just saying, like.
So I think I missed something. Let's rewind that, because I think they're running into that issue again, maybe, where she is doing that playful harshness. But then I'm also wondering if she's actually kind of being serious and he's not hearing it. Let's rewind.
Like different people. I don't think we have to work on it. It's just something I have to like get used to.
Yeah.
I mean, it is who you are, so I think it's fine.
And that's the person you love, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you get a little more love in that there or not?
I was like, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I think he's interpreting withholding when I don't think that's what's happening. You know, I think she's saying, look, it's kind of complicated because I'm not super into your extroversion, but I'll deal with it. You know, I'll roll with it. It's fine. And he's like, well, that's why you love me, right? So this might be where it's like, hey, she's talking. You don't have to always ask for constant reassurance. She was actually saying something that maybe you should take some time to hear. And so he's like, well, that's why you love me, right? And she's like, yeah. And he interprets that as meh, when I interpret it as, yeah, I do love you. I'm not in love with that part of you, but that's okay. You can have parts of you that are fine. It's just not for me. I'm not, your extroversion, that whole thing you do with your guy friends, it's just not for me. I love you. And so I think that's what she was saying, but he interpreted it differently and he's hurt. So let's see how they navigate this.
You gotta give our relationship a little more credit, I think.
Yeah, it's not like I don't. I'm just saying, like.
You joke a lot about our relationship. But how often do you say like how good it is?
Okay, so I think he's, resentful of past pain. I haven't shown all the little clips. Like when she's in the one-on-one interview, she'll be like, "He is the hottest guy I've ever seen." Not that exact quote, but she'll be saying, it's just like, he's so hot. When he takes his shirt off, he is so hot. She's just like, boiling over with attraction to him. But in person, he'll take his shirt off and she'll be like, oh, put your shirt back on, gross. Haha, just joking. And so, but they're playful, and it's, I'm guessing there are times when she does express her attraction to him. And so I think it's taking a toll on him, and he's seeing it now where it doesn't actually exist. He's seeing her being playful when I think she was being more thoughtful. And this is one of the downsides to being playfully harsh, is that it's hard to take people seriously. It's hard to trust because, wait, are you playing with me again, or are you just being subdued right now? So I think that's what's happening. Now, I would wish he would take a beat and just be like, wait, am I misinterpreting the situation?
Well, like, why do I have to? Why do we need to, like, talk about how great it is with other people?
Because we both joke around with each other a lot, though, right? Well, honestly, I brag all the time about us.
I know, and I want you to, but it's just, like, not my style.
Yeah, okay. So this is a good conversation. She's just like, I want to, but it's just not my style. I want to gush about our relationship, but it's not what I'm used to. It's just not my impulse or something. And so this is a good conversation, and she's fine to have that. So hopefully they can hear it. Now, she could do well in this moment by saying something like, I love you and I want to be with you. So, and I want to be in this relationship. I just wish that you could kind of understand that I'm not super expressive. I'm not as expressive as you are, and maybe as much as you want me to be, but I'm trying. So, give me a little bit of slack. I wish you would kind of say something along those lines. Let's see what he says here.
Are you, like, upset that I don't brag about
No,
our
I'm not.
relationship?
I'm not upset about it. I'm just like, why can't you brag about it? Like you don't brag about your purses, your coats. You brag about how a guy treats you. That's something you should brag about.
I just show my love differently. I think you have
Right. So I think this is a good conversation for them to have. I hope that through it, they can understand each other a little bit more. So there's nothing wrong with him wanting that kind of stuff, like I said. there's also nothing wrong with her saying, that's just not really my style, and I'll try, and I've been trying, but it's not. Now, I will say it's kind of interesting that he's focused on bragging, that he wants her to brag about their relationship, to other people. I get that. It's nice when you hear your partner brag. It's like, I love our relationship. It's a nice feeling, but I think that's going a little too far. I think he could definitely ask for, hey, I would just like some reassurance that you love me and that you like our relationship occasionally, that kind of thing. That's okay.
Such high expectations. Yeah, I'm not about PDA. I'm not gonna always be super affectionate with you.
I didn't ask that question.
You're freaking out at me right now, I feel like.
I'm not did I raise my voice? I have a conversation with you.
So it's another, I think, difference between their communication style. He is more reactive and she wants to be more calm and cool. And so she's like, are you, you're freaking out. And he's like, I don't feel like I'm freaking out. I'm just trying to have a engaging conversation with you. So I think this is good. They're having the conversation. Hopefully they can put themselves in each other's shoes and understand, okay, I guess we're different in this way and I have to interpret the other person a little bit differently than I would myself.
I know, I'm just shutting down during it right now.
So he's upset and he's shutting down. She's saying she's kind of shutting down. I think he's shutting down more than she is. And this is a little concerning because I wonder, because he came into the pod saying, I need a lot of reassurance. So it sounds like, or compliments specifically is what he said. And I wonder if in the past he has been in this situation where he's pleading and criticizing, you don't brag about us enough. I need more. What's wrong with you? As a, aggravant to the relationship. And it lends itself to one. So on one hand, it's fine to ask for that. On the other hand, if you have unresolved self-esteem issues that you're trying to constantly make up for by pressuring someone else to do more and more and more, then that's unreasonable and won't work anyway. So I wonder if he has any kind of issue like that and is aware of it.
I'm done. Fuck out of here.
So, I mean, what did she do? I'm done. So we saw this before when he was accused, when he came into the room with Natalie and thought it was Shayne and was like, oh, good, this is what I was hoping for. What are you wearing? And then Natalie was just quiet. And then he escalated, had a fight in his own head that wasn't really happening and said, I'm out of here. I'm done. So it's not a good sign of his self-awareness and emotional regulation and ability to see the woods for the trees for the woods. And because what did she do? She was just yeah, I mean, I can't see any major transgression that she said. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.